All right, welcome to Bloomington Buddies, where two buddies talk about all things sports. I'm Eddie Finn here, joined by Quincy Bell. We did have an extended period of time with no episodes as we just got back from fall break. Quincy, obviously, he was out of town. I know I stayed here, but, I did have a couple of things I had to do anyway. But we had a nice, relaxing 3-day weekend, though I don't know why it was called fall break, because that's not really a fall break.
Well, our Thanksgiving is longer.
Correct. Overall, college is better. We get off a month earlier than high school, and we get almost a month for Christmas. But
Purdue had a longer fall break, but their Thanksgiving break is shorter.
Correct. And, it doesn't matter. I would personally rather have two medium breaks, in my opinion. It just makes it easier. But, it was still relaxing, I guess, to have that Friday off, just to kind of get back in it as we are getting ready for midterm. Some of us start this week, some of us started last week. But we're going to go ahead and get ready to start off. First off, we're going to go over MLB. I think that's really major, all the things that we've seen happen. Obviously, we have a major Game 5 tonight. After that, we're going to hop into college football. We had quite a few major upsets, I would say, in my opinion, that are going to pretty much change playoffs. There was, I would say, 2 or 3 that would really define the playoff picture right now. And then we're going to go into NFL. There's also quite a few big upsets in the NFL. Shout out to my New York Giants. And then we're going to finish with NBA. If we have time, we'll try to get in the preseason polls for college basketball, but that's going to be kind of tight. So we'll see if we get that in today.
IU ranked ranked in the preseason for the first time in a while.
Yeah, that's true. They're ranked for the first time. But before we get started, just really quickly, make sure to go follow us on social media at TikTok and Instagram. Both of them are at Bloomington_buddies. Would really appreciate that. A lot of stuff's going to be coming there. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching there, or make sure to keep coming back on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this, and that's going to be under IUS TV. So thanks again, guys, for listening. It really helps support us and get our channel moving. But let's go ahead, get into MLB. All right, we had a crazy couple of games. I know I watched the game last night, and I was pumped. It was much needed game. I'll say that.
Of the 4 series, 3 of them are complete. So I say we got to start talking about those series.
I would like to say my world champion is still in the playoffs as compared to y'all.
Okay, the first series I want to talk about is Braves-Phillies.
And they got just totally killed. Absolutely killed.
The last episode we filmed, I don't think it's out or anything.
It's not, but I will put it out.
We've had a bunch of, but this is what I said. No one has heard me say this, but I'll say it again. I said before the DS series started, I said for the teams that won in the wild card round, if they can get a split on the road, they can win it at home because they're going to be saving, because they will have already used their good pitchers. If they get a split on the road, they're going to be using their good pitchers at home, and they can clinch the series. And that is exactly what
except for with my Yankees, because we're better.
That is exactly what 2 teams did. That's what the Phillies and the Padres did. They both did that. So I want to talk about the Phillies and Braves series. So game 1 in Atlanta, Phillies jump out all over them. Max Fried got lit up. Nick Castellanos, Alec Boehm. Boehm had a great series. Boehm and Castellanos really played well. So game 1, Phillies jump out all over them. At one point it was 7-1. They're rocking them up and down. Well, the Braves come back. In the 5th, they scored 2 runs. Matt Olson hit a 3-run shot in the 9th. Bottom of the 9th, Nick Castellanos makes a diving catch to keep the tying run off base, and the Phillies win game 1. So we're like, okay, Phillies momentum coming in. Game 2, Braves beat him 3-0. Kyle Wright throws amazing. Kyle Wright, 6 innings, no runs. Zach Wheeler gave up 3. But when this series went to Philly, those fans were up and rowdy as
there were still fans screaming yesterday at the Eagles games. They were still wearing their Philly stuff, and it wasn't even funny. There were people apparently there was a watch party supposed to be going on in the Philly stadium because they were just still pumped.
Game 3 ended 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
Harper homered, Hoskins homered, Aaron Nola. This is what I'm talking about. Their aces pitching later in this series when it's tied, and he shoved. 9-1, they win. And the same thing happened Saturday. Game 4 they win 8-3. The Phillies they took that momentum from beating the Cardinals and they rolled through the Braves. They are hot right now.
And yet they're still going to lose this round.
We'll see.
No, it's going to be Astros and Padres. I don't care who makes it out of the Yankees game. I love the Yankees.
Now, San Diego. They lost game 1. Julio Urias pitched pretty well. Mike Clevenger got jumped on. Trey Turner homered. I mean, it was pretty much all Dodgers from the start. The Padres mounted a little bit of a comeback, but this comeback came up short. This one came up short. Game 2. Padres win 5-3. Yu Darvish, great. 5
If you
innings.
can win 3 games straight against the Dodgers, I think you are automatically going to the World Series.
The bullpen is really what shut it down for the Padres here. Because it was 3-3 after 3 innings, but after the 3rd inning, Padres shut it down pitching. Their bullpen really came to play. Josh Hader recorded a 4-out save, which I believe he hadn't done ever in his career. Get a 4-out save. Cronenworth, who was just an animal this series. Jake Cronenworth came through, gave him the lead, so they tie it up. They got the split on the road. So then they go to San Diego for the first time. And for a lot of these teams, for all the wild card teams, or for some of them, it's their first time playing at home because the Phillies didn't have any games at home in the Cardinal series, and their first 2 games were on the road. So they're finally coming back home, and that's when the crowd is hella amped up, and they won 2-1. Off of a fantastic performance from Blake Snell. Cronenworth also got some RBIs in that game. They win 2-1. Josh Hader gets another save. So game 4 on Saturday. This game started at 10 o'clock at night because it got delayed. It didn't end until 1 a.m. I fell asleep during this game because I really thought the Dodgers.
Nah, I watched this.
The Dodgers were up 3-0 in the 7th.
And the Padres just came out balling.
7th inning.
They hit 2, I think.
The
3.
7th inning, they put up 5 in the 7th inning. Austin Nola infield single scores a run. Hassan Kim doubles. Juan Soto with a single, and Jake Cronenworth gets the 2 RBI single to take the lead. One of my baseball coaches this past year, he told me, he goes, I think Jake Cronenworth will have a better career than Fernando Tatis. And I'm like, maybe, but probably not. Okay, and then like a month later, Tatis gets suspended for PADs, and Jake Cronenworth is running everyone out of the building.
Yeah, but that's not going to be a better career, a better season.
Oh, no, it will.
Tatis will have a better career.
Tatis will suck next year.
No, he won't.
Yes, he will.
No, he won't.
Yes,
he's one of the most highest. He's one of the most highest rated.
Yeah, but
players.
one of his PEDs.
You think that he was on PADs the entire time he's played baseball?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I do.
I think he was on it this season, but I don't think that he was on it all the time.
He didn't even play
There's
this
no
year.
proof.
He was hurt, and then he was going to come back.
But I'm saying that you think, and he's played, 3 seasons?
Jake Cronenworth
2?
is a dog.
So,
He'll have a better career than Tatis. I agree
I
with
don't.
that now.
I just think looking at the
100%
teams.
agree. And then the saddest series.
I feel bad for the Mariners.
Just the saddest series.
But I also don't at the same time because you guys really thought you were going to go into Houston and win any games?
The saddest series. Okay, so game 1 between the Mariners and Astros. The Mariners jump all over them. It's the same thing all the wild card teams were doing. They were up 4-0. J.P. Crawford was out here doing a bunch of stuff. They're up 7-3 in the 7th. Bregman gets a 2-run homer. Okay, 7-5. And the 9th inning, they get 2 runners on. Okay, I think there was 1 or 2 outs. Yordan Alvarez coming up to the plate. The Mariners at this point have still a 91% chance to win.
And then he came up. Bam, gone.
See ya.
And that was it.
3-run homer. There's baseball has a stat for nerds like me. It's called WPA, which is win probability added.
Yeah.
There's a calculator. It's what is your chance to win with this many out, this many out.
Yeah, I mean they have that with a lot of sports.
So the Astros went from 9% to 100%. That's 91%. That is the largest WPA play in the history of the MLB playoffs. And it could happen to no other team than the Seattle Mariners.
I think the most interesting game by far. I watched this entire game. God help me. If it tells you how much of a life I have. I don't ever watch baseball, really.
Well,
but I watched Saturday's game.
Let's talk about Game 3.
Game 3 was... That's what I'm talking about. That's the one I'm talking about.
No, Game 2.
Game 2 was not as exciting.
Game 2, Mariners had a lead. Didn't matter. Jordan Alvarez homered again. Luis Castillo pitched really well, but didn't pitch well enough. Astros bullpen pretty much shut that one down.
It was 4-2, yeah.
Game 3. My friend was at this game.
innings.
My friend was at this game.
Put that in perspective. The runtime, I'm pretty sure when I went back and looked at the recording,
This game was 6 hours long.
I was going to say it was like 5 hours and 50 something minutes. It was ridiculous. I watched the entire thing. I fell asleep, I'm pretty sure, during once we got to the 11th inning, I fell asleep. I woke back up around the 12th, 13th.
I was switching between this game and
I had them both up.
And some of the college football.
No, I
games.
had all of it up, and I have to say that this was by far the most interesting one I've seen, because the amount of Mariner fans who really believed that they were going to win this game was so depressing to watch.
You're telling me you haven't been to the playoffs in 21 years.
No.
21
I'm
years.
saying it's depressing that they really thought that because looking at their roster strength, Astros have a better roster all around. Once they got to the bullpen and they got to the pitchers that definitely had pitched maybe one game in their life, this is when they started to realize.
Telling you.
When Pina hit that home run, it was over.
Jeremy Pena, oh yeah.
It was over.
Yeah.
He literally looked at everybody and knew it was over.
Everyone knew the first team to score would win that game. But watching this stuff, it's literally an out-of-body experience. It's like, oh my God, how are these red... Okay, here was the line for the Astros pitchers. Lance McCullers, 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs. He absolutely shoved. Hector Neris, a scoreless inning. Reyes Moranto, scoreless inning. Ryan Presley, scoreless inning. Bobby Abreu, scoreless inning. Ryan Stanek, scoreless inning. Hunter Brown pitched 2 scoreless innings. The one guy I really want to highlight is Luis Garcia, who is one of their starting pitchers. They're like, oh, we got to win this game now. So they're like, we're pulling him out of the bullpen. Pitched 5 scores. He pitched a scoreless 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. It was a 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. All scoreless, and only gave up 2 hits throughout that entire time. But the Mariners pitching was pretty much almost as good. I mean, George Kirby with 7 scoreless to start this game. Andres Munoz scoreless inning. Castillo got an out. Matt Branch inning in 2/3. Paul Sewald is out here getting outs. And finally they also brought a starter. They brought in Robbie Ray, and they brought in Robbie Ray after the home run. Penn Murphy, spelled Murfee, gives up the home run, and that does it. But it is just wild. I think that the talent level in the MLB right now is so much higher than it has ever been, because there are so many relievers that can throw 100 with cut and break. And it's like when you get down to the playoffs, it's like all these guys are being used, and you see how good pitchers are nowadays. It is fascinating to watch. It's like, oh my God, no one can hit the damn ball.
I will say I have watched many of MLB playoffs and regretted every moment of it, but this has by far been the most interesting MLB playoffs I've seen. By far.
These playoffs have been...
I would say besides the year the Cubs won, and that was just because that was a very interesting, upset year. A lot of players, a lot of close games, which is what I like to see, is when it's kind of back and forth hitting, as opposed to 18 innings with nothing. That was the most boring game I've ever seen until the 18th inning.
Here's what's funny.
Just it gets better, and I will say this has definitely been one of the most interesting.
My favorite thing watching. Hold on, I'm gonna try to find this, but the Dodger fans complaining. Oh my goodness, it has been so funny. They're complaining that they gotta buy. I'm not even kidding. They're like, oh, well, San Diego had momentum. It's not fair. I mean, listen to this. The Padres are living so rent-free for the Dodgers. It's not even funny. They're out here saying, oh, the Giants are our true rival. Note to San Diego Padres fans, you saying beat LA is actually a compliment. No one says beat SD because no one cares about you. They're like, oh, it's unfair that they had momentum and da-da-da-da-da, and oh, we won the regular season series. And it's like listening to them complain is just so funny because they win one fake.
Oh, yeah. They're not. Dodger fans don't know how to lose because they had such a long period where all they did was win. But no matter what.
Not even. They win one.
I had to. I could not stop myself. He didn't even acknowledge it. He was ignoring it.
They win one fake World Series, and they think they're better than everyone. They choke. They've done this every year. I don't know why anyone's surprised. They did it to the Braves. They did it to the Nationals. They did it to the Padres. They did it to the Mets in 2015. The Nationals is 2019. Padres this year. The Cubs that 1 year. It's like this isn't new. This isn't new. This is why I never pick the Dodgers.
No, that's not why I didn't pick the Dodgers. By the way, I just like to point out, I had the Dodgers and Astros, but I had the Astros winning, and the Astros are still in it.
I had the Braves.
I know you had the Braves. Everybody seemed to have the Braves. Everybody was on the Braves bandwagon, and I knew that they weren't going to win, no matter what.
I'm telling you, it might be better to be a wild card team. I'm not even kidding.
I don't know.
I mean, of the 4 series, okay, we do got to talk about the Yankees.
We are 100% talking about the Yankees.
So game one, I think the Yankees won.
No, the Yankees won game 1. Garrett Cole came out kind of slow. I watched the Yankees games. He started kind of slow. I want to say he got 2 strikeouts throughout the first 4 innings.
6 1/3, 1 run, 8 Ks.
He went off near the end of the game. He was relieved, I want to say, in the 7th inning. I think it was. I mean, I get some of them mixed up game-wise. But he was relieved in the 7th. He was really slow through the first 2, gave up quite a few hits. I want to say through the first 2 innings, the Guardians had 3 hits and the Yankees only had 1. And, it looked really bad for the Yankees. And then the Yankees came out firing. They started looking really good overall. I was very impressed at how they really started to kind of get their what we see the Yankees have done all year, where they start to get their hitting together. They did a really good job keeping Aaron Judd in check. I will 100% give them that. I think that was the biggest thing they did. But
game 2 was a weird game. So Stanton homers in the first to make it 2-0 Yankees. Andres Jimenez, who has had a fantastic year, all-star second baseman for the Guardians. He's a stud. He's had a great year. Singles to make it a 1-run game. Ahmed Rosario ties it with a home run. So now we go into extras. And here's the thing. When it comes down to extra innings, you have to do everything you can to prevent runs from scoring. Defense should be your main priority.
They couldn't field the ball in game 2. That was their biggest issue.
I don't know who is in left field.
Judd is in left field
No,
usually.
it wasn't Judd.
I know he plays right.
I don't even remember who it was.
I don't remember,
Jose
but
Ramirez
he wasn't there at the beginning.
Hits a little looper behind the third baseman going out, left fielder charging in. And the left fielder has a super late jump to the ball, and he hesitates between whether he should dive or slide. As an outfielder, you got to make that quick decision whether you're going to dive or slide. I prefer sliding because I feel like it gives you more time for the ball to come down. But he doesn't decide what he does. It kind of just falls in the vicinity of the ball. The ball drops, gets past him. Jose Ramirez is hustling his ass, trying to get a double and get into scoring position. Comes up throwing, throws it into right field. Mm-hmm. Jose Ramirez gets up to third, and then he ends up scoring on a single from Oscar Gonzalez, who we'll talk about later in the Game 3 recap. He's had a monster postseason as a rookie. He singles to get him home. Josh Naylor adds some insurance with a double to deep center, and that was it. I mean, Aaron Boone, you got to put some defensive replacements out there. Defense is key. It's going to win you these playoff games. Aaron Boone's lack of doing that cost them this game.
Yeah, I can agree. I mean, I will say I love the game. I think that overall, the Yankees lost, but I think that they lost in a way that 100% makes sense. I mean, this is definitely where we could see that the Guardians were starting to realize, hey, they may be a heavy-hitting team, but we can take advantage of their pitching. And we have good pitching. I don't think we have bad pitchers, but I think that they started to realize, hey, this is definitely where they're most flawed. They're a hitting team this year. They were carried by their hitting. I mean, everybody knows that. Their pitching is good. Garrett Cole's one of my favorite pitchers, but they were inconsistent. Right. A lot of the games we lost in a row were because of pitching.
Game 3, Luis Severino on the mound for the Yankees. Tristan McKenzie out for the Guardians, and they both got shelled. They both gave up 4 runs. The hitting was all out in this game.
I will say that this game was not even the fact that the Guardians played a good game. It was that the Yankees sold it. It was not the Guardians.
Harrison Bader homers in the 7th. I think he has 3 home runs this series. 3 home runs this series for Harrison Bader. I know Yankees fans were pleased with that trade with the Cardinals. So Bader homers. They're up by 2 going into the last inning. Well, the Guardians put some hits together. Ahmed Rosario singles. And they're moving runners around. And all of a sudden you got... Okay. They were moving runners around off some kind of cheap hits. I mean, Stephen Kwan's out here half swinging and putting balls over infielders' heads. I mean, sometimes you need luck like that. But anyway, they get some runners around. And it comes to second and third, or it was either second and third or bases loaded, with I think 2 outs. It was either 2 outs or 1 out. I think it was 2 outs.
There was 2 outs and bases were loaded. Yeah.
And
no, it was 1. It was 1 because everybody knew they were going to score.
Oscar Gonzalez walks to the plate, punches one, not hit hard. He's lunging hella at the ball, punches it through the middle, and 2 runs score, and they absolutely steal Game 3. Here's what I gotta say, Aaron Boone, tie series. Winner of this game is gonna have a big advantage of the series. Who do you have on to save the game? None other than Clark Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt is not a bad pitcher.
You have better options.
Correct, but you also don't want to throw your entire best just to go to a 2-1 series lead. Because look, now who can you throw in game 2 in game 5?
Should have been the Haters saved every game for the Padres.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the Yankees. Who can they throw?
There are better options to throw than a guy with a 6.75 ERA.
Correct, but now we can throw multiple good players in game 5. That's what we want.
He's trying to get too cute and save pitchers.
Correct, but hey, we're tied and we're going to Yankee Stadium.
Could have won the series. Could have won the series.
I don't think we could have. I think we would have lost either way. We would have lost the next game anyway. If we don't have pitchers for one game.
Clay Holmes has been an animal out of the bullpen this year. Why you're putting a guy with a 6 ERA in a safe spot in a tie series? The Yankees would have won this series already if it wasn't for Aaron Boone's managerial miscues. Lucky for the Yankees, they did win game 4, 4-2. Garrett Cole once again absolutely shoving 7 innings, only 2 runs. And they got enough runs there. Clay Holmes pitched in this game, pitched in the 8th inning, didn't give up a run. And if only you could have had a scoreless inning in game. And
yet we're still tied, and we're going to win at Yankee Stadium, which is exactly what we want.
Well, let's talk about that.
They may not play tonight. I just brought that up.
Okay, so game 5, the winner take all game 5, is supposed to be played today.
And it's probably not going to be played today.
Projected pitching matchup.
Saying.
Aaron Savale versus Jameson Taillon. Those are 2 very average pitchers.
Yes, but
I think we will see some runs.
I don't know about that.
Runs will be scored in this game. And I don't know. I think it's going to be close. The Yankees are favored. Okay. If you're talking the Yankees are favored by a run and a half.
Yeah, well, that's because they're better. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, theoretically, we should win this game pretty easily. Theoretically.
I mean, theoretically, you should have won every game easily, but Cleveland
was projected to win a couple.
I think Cleveland can 100% win this game.
I don't think they can, and I don't think they will.
You're thinking there's no chance they win.
The only chance they win is if they are up. If they're up in the 7th inning, they win. Or they have a chance of winning. If they're down again, they're not winning. We're going to have the crowd behind us this time.
4.92 ERA. Taillon's got a 3.91. It's going to be close. I don't know. It's going to be who's hitting shows up. That's what's going to come down to.
Historically, for this season, we're going to win.
It's going to come down to clutch hitting.
I'm telling you right now, what have we seen from the Yankees this year? Aaron Judd.
That's the other thing.
No, Aaron Judd has been quiet.
Sucked.
Correct.
And I told you he would.
Listen. What has happened during the season? They win 7, 8, 9, 10 games. Then they go on a 3-game losing streak. And then what happens? Aaron Judd was quiet for those 3 games, and then he comes out and he just balls out. How many games has he been quiet for? Now what game is it? 5? Guess who's going to show up game 5 and win the series for us? Aaron Judd. It's going to be a pretty simple dub.
Hey, my gut says Cleveland.
And my gut says you are stupid. I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Don't take it personally.
I think see, everyone knows that the Indians always choke in the playoffs. But I think in game 5, when it's going to come down to possibly emergency relief pitchers, I think Cleveland's going to have more depth because Garrett Cole's going to be unavailable. But all these horses that Cleveland has, like the starting pitching that they have that can come out of the bullpen in this emergency type of game. And, I mean, Oscar Gonzalez has been hot. Jose's been hot. Josh Naylor rocking the baby. I'd love to see that. I hate Garrett Cole. I'm going to take Cleveland.
I know you're going to take Cleveland. I knew that you were going to take Cleveland before we started, but
I think they're going.
I just think you're insane.
We're rocking with the Guardians. Give me Cleveland.
You know what? If that's your motto, you know what? I'm down to support you. I'm just here also to counsel you when you cry because they lost.
Oh, this will be a good game. There are tickets for $78 on Vivid Seats. Damn, I thought they'd be more expensive than that.
Nah, I mean, who knows?
All right, we gotta talk about college football.
We will. I think we need to do that. We'll go into that right now. There are a couple games I really want to bring up. Yes, obviously, everybody wants to talk about the Bama game. It was a good game. But before we get there, I want to bring up a couple other games that I think are very important. First off, Michigan absolutely demolishes Penn State. We have a Michigan fan in the house. He's very happy.
Shut up, producer Jackson.
But we also know that that's not going to matter because they're still going to lose to Ohio State. It's still going to happen. I'm sorry. It does help us, though, so thank you for demolishing their confidence, so maybe we can at least get within 3 scores.
4 scores.
Probably. Anyway, that was a major game. Michigan now goes up to 3.
I think this was impressive just because I think Penn State has been the first real good team Michigan has played. Indiana's not great. Iowa's not great. Maryland's not great.
And I will say this. You have your rankings that you put on there. You put Georgia first, Tennessee second.
So, okay,
and you're out of your mind.
I'm going to talk about this at the end. I made my own top 15. I do it sometimes.
We may have time. Well, we're going to have to,
but
stagger
good win
things.
for Michigan. I think they looked really
I will
impressive.
say this. Easily, I know people are on the Tennessee hype now that they beat Alabama. I don't think that they place above. They're going to place 4th.
We're going to save the Tennessee game for last.
Correct, but they are 4th, in my opinion. Michigan wins this, they go to 3rd.
Clemson.
That is not a big game.
Clemson and Florida State. I think this is a game I think a lot of people thought Clemson would lose.
I didn't. I told you they're going undefeated until they lose. And
I would appreciate it if you let me talk. I'm
just saying, flat out.
I think there were people that were picking Florida State. And Florida State was in this game for a while, had a lead, and Clemson tore the top off. I think that was really impressive to see from Clemson to finally take control of a game against a good opponent. I feel like in a lot of these games, they struggled against Wake Forest. NC State hung around in the game for a while. To take control against a really good team, I like that.
You can't take control and then lose it. They took control, and then they immediately allowed Florida State to come back.
They scored 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. I mean,
that game was already
lost.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is, it works for this game, but you can't do that when you play in the playoffs or when you play a good team. You can't allow 2 late touchdowns.
I'm going to bring that up in my ranks. I still think there are teams better than Clemson. Utah took down USC.
That was the luckiest win I've ever seen in my life. I watched that entire game through, and I'm telling you right now, USC is the better team. They looked better. They played better. It's just that Utah literally got one clutch play at the end of the game, and that's it. They fumbled the ball twice. They threw multiple interceptions. They looked horrible. That game belonged to USC, and I will say the only reason they won is because Cam Rising got so lucky on that 2-point conversion. He was hit, and he just somehow bounced off. He was short. He was not going to make it.
I mean,
2 USC defenders were there. I watched it. I was pissed.
I picked Utah to win this game.
And they got lucky.
And this game lived up to the hype. I mean, it was an amazing game. There are a lot of wild playoff scenarios.
You were just trying to console yourself for saying they were going to the playoffs.
No, I thought they would win this game because they have one of the best home crowds. This is going to be the best opponent they play at home all year. There was a blackout game, and they're still a really good team. So I picked Utah, and they ended up winning. So good on Utah. USC.
I don't think they deserve to win. Easily, they don't.
If USC runs the table and goes 11-1 and wins the Pac-12, do you think they make the playoff?
No. They would have beaten Utah and gone undefeated, which they would have. Had there not been that fluke at the end, they would have gone to the playoffs.
If they win out, you think they don't make the playoffs?
No, because you have an 11-1 Pac-12 team. You're going to have an 11-1 Big Ten team, and you're going to have an 11-1
we could talk
Alabama.
About this. We could talk about this after we talk about.
It's pretty simple who's going.
This game, I did not watch basically any of this game, but this was the second best game for the weekend. Oklahoma State and TCU played a fantastic game. I mean, Oklahoma State was on their ass the whole game. They're up 30-16 at the end of the 3rd. I mean, it's not even that TCU was playing that badly. It was just Oklahoma State was clearly looking like the better team. 4th quarter comes around, and TCU turns it on to a second gear at home, and they score 2 touchdowns to tie the game. And the defense shut down Oklahoma State in that 4th quarter. They go to overtime. They both get touchdowns in the first overtime. And then second overtime, 4 plays, negative 10 yards on the drive for Oklahoma State. They have to settle for a long field goal. TCU drives down 6 plays. They ended with a 2-yard TD run. And TCU is 6-0, ranked first in the Big 12. And they've already gotten through pretty much, I think, the toughest teams on the schedule. They've already got through Kansas. They already got through Kansas. They already got through Oklahoma. They already got through Oklahoma State. I mean, do they lose? The only game I see them losing is at Texas. I think they'll beat Kansas State, West Virginia, Texas Tech. I think they'll beat Baylor and Iowa State. I think at Texas will be the game that could decide TCU.
It doesn't matter. TCU still loses. They're not making the playoffs. I mean,
if they go undefeated, they will.
They won't go undefeated.
If they will.
And if they go undefeated, they won't.
Okay.
You're telling me you're going to put an undefeated TCU team.
We're going to talk about playoffs at the end.
I'm just telling you they're not
We're going to talk about playoffs at the end. Ole Miss, I mean, they gave up 34 to Auburn, but they did score 48. There is a chance Ole Miss can get in if they beat Bama. We'll talk about that later. Kentucky.
They're not beating Bama.
Good win over Mississippi State. Kansas lost to Oklahoma.
Okay, no, I'm talking about them. Syracuse is the most underrated freaking team in college football right now. They just knocked off NC State. They are now 6-0. They haven't lost a game. They have been ranked for 3 weeks, and they have beat a ranked team that's better than them.
They'll be in the top 15.
Syracuse can go to the playoffs. If they beat Clemson, they go to the playoffs.
That's a big if, but yeah. Okay.
They're at home, I think, against Clemson.
No, it's actually,
are they at Clemson? Okay, then they lose. Okay. If they were home, I would say they win.
Okay. Oh, also, Illinois is 6-1. That team looked like garbage against IU.
Exactly. But what teams have they played? Again, everybody always goes, "Oh wow, they're 6-1." But what teams have they played?
These are teams Illinois normally loses to.
Okay, normally, but they have a good team. But yeah, they're not playing. You're also playing teams that suck.
They do got to play at Michigan.
They lost against us. That's all you need to know.
They might win the Big Ten West.
Yeah, there's not much competition. I'm telling you right now, I think Purdue could beat them.
When was the last time Illinois made the Big Ten title game? Have they ever?
Not in football. I'm pretty sure that they haven't, or if they did, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
Also, another big game I really want to talk. Okay, I do want to talk about it. It was horrible, but I think after that was really all the big games. Georgia destroyed Vanderbilt. Nothing major there. Penn State. We already talked about that. Indiana lost to Maryland, 38-33. I was on the sidelines for this because I was working with ESPN. Super fun, super great day, except for the fact when you are literally next to the Indiana end zone in the fourth quarter and you literally see every heartbreaking moment unfold. We were down 2 scores. Of course, we did the classic Indiana where we can't play a whole half, but we decided to do a last-second comeback to get every fan in the stadium's hopes up, just so that we can be broken down after a loss. Great drive. I will say real quick, rough day for the Tagovailoa family. This is the second time that one of them has been carted off the field in the last 2 weeks. But I will say that they played all around really good. I will say, though, the backup played better than Tua's brother.
I didn't watch.
Easily. I know you didn't. I watched it, and I was just in pure awe of how we have bad run D, but we were so good in this game. We played really good until the backup quarterback came in and started read optioning us just to hell.
Their backup's an option QB.
So was Tua's brother, but they didn't run it as much. This man is way quicker than Tua's brother. Easily, I will say he just tore us to pieces. He, at one point in time, had a 42-yard rush that got them within the 10-yard line, which is what helped set up a score to go up. And then we had a bad. By the way, first play of the game, Connor Bazelak decides to throw a pick on a PA boot over. Classic.
Start Dennis.
Starts Dennis.
Or not Dennis. What's
a Dexter?
Dexter. Same thing.
It was Connor's fault, but also I think that this is where the tight end should have tried to bat it down. He threw it way high. The tight end jumped in the air, tried to catch it, tipped it, and it went right behind him into the hands of the defender. But I will say they looked really good. They let it come back, and they just didn't get the onside kick. A lot of lucky plays. In that last drive, we had 2 tips that went 5 yards behind the player that was supposed to catch it, and our guy just happened to be there. One of them was thrown really high off his helmet, and it bounced back over his head. Our guy landed right, and it ran it for 10 more yards. Another one, the same thing happened. They ran a Philly special, and it worked. They snapped it. He handed it off to handed it off to Sean Shivers, who gave it to, I think it was Cam Camper, and he tossed it to Bazelak, who got us down to the 3. Then we ran it in, which made it 33-38, and of course we couldn't get the onside kick. I will say this, we will now no longer make a bowl game. We had the possibility, if we won this game, to make a bowl game. We will now finish probably 5-7. Because now looking at it, we lose to Purdue. As much as I hate to admit it, we lose to Purdue.
Yes.
We maybe beat Rutgers and we maybe beat Michigan State. That's it.
I think we will beat Michigan State. They suck.
Yeah, but I think we're in the road for that. So.
Okay. So.
All right. So are we doing predictions really quick and then NFL?
Quincy, we still haven't talked about the Tennessee game.
Oh, that's right. We didn't. I forgot
Quincy
about
Bell.
that.
My grandpa played football at Tennessee. So since for as long as I can remember, I've watched Tennessee football and have been a Tennessee football fan. Now, for a lot of that time, they have sucked. They've been really, really bad. Jeremy Pruitt, Butch Jones. I mean, who else do you want to name for coaches? They've just been bad ever since. Just one more. Okay, so this year, so last year, they start looking pretty good, and they had a good year. Did pretty well against some good teams, but they still didn't beat any of their three main rivals, Florida, Georgia, Alabama. So this year, we're like, okay, Hendon Hooker's back, and he was a really big game-changing quarterback. And got some pieces here. They could have a chance to have a really good year. And they start the year, and they're starting to beat some really good teams. They beat Pitt, ranked team, beat Florida, monkey drug LSU. That was embarrassing for LSU. And finally, they get up to 6 against Alabama, who is Alabama. But Alabama was coming in, not looking like the greatest team in the world. They had a close game against Texas where they could have lost. Could have lost against Arkansas. Could have lost against A&M. And all of a sudden, this is now the biggest game in Tennessee football history since the turn of the century. They haven't beaten Bama in 15 years, and everyone was there. Literally everyone you could name was there. 102,000 sold out at Neyland Stadium, and everyone's like, get ready, buckle up. This is going to be the game of the year. So Tennessee comes out firing 21 points in the first quarter. Jalen Hyatt with 2 long touchdowns. And Tennessee's all over them in this thing. And basically in the first half, anything that could go wrong for Alabama, it did go wrong for Alabama. Alabama, this entire game, had 17 penalties. 17 penalties. That's like 2 a drive. It was bad for Alabama in the first half. There was also another play. It was 14. It was either 4. I think it was 14-7 at this point. Tennessee's punting it away, and Bama's punt returner isn't going to return it. Ball bounces. He just lets it go. And another guy from Alabama thought he muffed it, and he goes to pick it up, and he can't pick it up. It goes on the ground. Tennessee gets it, and they score a touchdown. So they were up 28-10, but to end the half, Ja'Cory Brooks, 7-yard touchdown, 28-17, and they get a field goal, 28-20. And then immediately Tennessee comes out, couldn't score, and Alabama ties the game. After everything has gone right for Tennessee, Bama still ties the game. But then Jalen Hyatt, boom, busts a deep coverage for a 60-yard touchdown. He ended the game with 5 touchdowns. That was one of the best wide receiver performances I've ever seen in my entire life. He caught 6 passes for like 250 yards and 5 touchdowns. But once again, Alabama scores. It was back and forth. Jalen Hyatt, again, he runs a post, and he catches it between like 3 Bama defenders. And he just outruns all of them. He just outruns them all. 78-yard touchdown. Bama once again comes back. And here's where I thought game's done. Here's where I thought the game's done. 42-42. Tennessee's got the ball. They go for a read option. And the running back drops it on the ground. And Bama picks it up, and they walk in. And I'm like, that's it. That game's over. After all that's happened, Bama's going to force a turnover here, and that's going to be it. Because how many times has a team almost beaten Alabama? Can't get it done. Well, not this time. They walk down. Jalen Hyatt again. Touchdown. Ties the game up. But then Bama starts eating some time up. And they get into field goal range at like 20 seconds. And I'm like, well, you know what? It was a great effort, but it doesn't matter. They're going to win. Will Reichert's a great kicker. He's going to make it. Kicks it, and it's not even close. It's not even close to the uprights. He kicks it wide. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I was watching my game with my dad, lifelong Tennessee fan. He's like, oh, we got overtime. And I'm like, hey, they got 2 timeouts to work with. Pass to midfield, they get it. Another pass, they get it. Kick, they're in field goal range. Kick for the win. They kick it up, It's like floating
That is
sideways.
by the way, the most. I'm going to say this right now, and I've been saying this. That is the luckiest kick I've ever seen in my life. If they were I would be willing to bet if they were 2 yards back, that kick would have hit the crossbar.
I thought it got blocked. I don't think it
No,
did.
it got tipped. It got
did.
tipped.
But it's like, it's wobbly, and it crosses over the goal.
And when I say it was close, I mean, if you're looking at me, there was about this much room between the ball and the post.
I mean, that's all they need.
The crossbar, I'm telling you right now, that is the luckiest play for Tennessee. Now, all credit to them. They did take it, and they did what they had to do to win. But I'm just saying right now, I'm and we'll talk about it now that we're done with the game. You have Tennessee in second.
Hold on, let me
go through your top 4.
Okay. And then the fans rush the field. They tear down the goalpost. Great. This is a program-defining win for Tennessee.
Yeah.
There was literally like a wide receiver that committed for like the class of 2024 that decommitted from Bama committed to Tennessee like today.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a program-defining win for Tennessee. Fans rip down the goalpost. They throw it in the river. That was just a chaos scene to watch. Tennessee's officially back and a major contender for a national title this year.
They're not. I'm sorry.
You're insane.
They're not going to beat Georgia or Ohio State. There's no way. They're not.
So I made a top 15.
No, just go through your top 4. We don't have enough time to go through 15 because we've got about half an hour and we still got to go through 2 more things.
What else do we need to go to?
NFL, and we're going to do NBA a little bit before we go.
Okay. Here's my top 15.
Go through 4.
At 15, I got USC.
Or don't.
14, Syracuse. 13, Wake Forest. 12, Penn State. 11, Oregon. 10, Oklahoma State. 9, UCLA. It was a big game against Oregon. 8, Ole Miss. 7, TCU. 6, Clemson. 5, Alabama. And the reason I still have Alabama this high is literally everything went wrong for them that game, and Tennessee needed a last-second field goal to win. I mean, Alabama, they really need to clean up the penalties. I mean, if they don't clean up the penalties, they're going to lose to Ole Miss.
They're not going to lose to Ole Miss.
If they don't clean up the penalties, they will.
I don't think they will. Ole Miss has had too many close games this year.
So you think they're going to walk out if they
win the rest of their games?
If Alabama has 17, I think they'll beat Ole Miss.
They'll win the rest of their games.
I think they'll beat Ole Miss, but if they don't clean up the penalties, they won't. I got Alabama at 5, Michigan at 4, Ohio State at 3, Tennessee at 2,
and you're crazy.
And Georgia at 1.
You're already crazy because you just said it yourself. Tennessee barely beat Bama. They won on a field goal. Michigan just destroyed Penn State by more than 3 scores.
Alabama is significantly better than Penn State.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't because Penn State was still a top 10 ranked team. They destroyed them. You actually kept Michigan where they were after they just destroyed a top 10 opponent. I'm saying right now Tennessee goes to 4.
Where am I going to move? So you
Ohio State is 2nd, Michigan is 3rd, and Tennessee is 4th.
I'm telling you right now, Tennessee would wipe the floor with Michigan.
I don't think they would wipe the floor. I think it would be a close game. Now, do I think that Tennessee would necessarily lose? No. But I'm saying that based off what the wins have been so far, and based off the amount of points they won by, Michigan did better. They looked better.
When I saw them play IU, they did not look like even a top 10 team.
Okay, and has there been a single? Let's see. I'm willing to bet there's been a game that Tennessee has played this year that they did not. Yeah, they almost lost to Florida.
Tennessee wins one game and they just have people hating on them. It's sad.
No, I don't hate Tennessee. Never have. I'm a Manning fan. When I was little, I used to go back and watch Tennessee old reruns because I thought Peyton Manning was great. But I hate that everybody sees them win one game and all of a sudden, their national title.
It's not just one game.
It's against Bama. Okay, congratulations. Does that mean that if a team upsets the best team in the NFL,
they're 6-0, Eddie? They've beaten.
But they're not gonna win the title. I'm telling you right now.
They have 4 ranked wins.
You also think that Hendon Hooker is gonna win the Heisman? He's in 3rd.
Is. You can't look at me after that's his Heisman moment right there.
Bryce Young even had a better passer rating. He had almost double the yards that he had.
Bryce Young.
The only thing he didn't have more of was touchdowns, and that was because Bryce Young didn't throw as many.
He didn't have more of what matters.
No, because you can get touchdowns elsewhere, which they did.
I'm telling you right now,
obviously,
Hendon Hooker is the best quarterback in college football.
He's not.
College football.
C.J. Stroud is overall better.
I'm not talking about like draft prospect or whatever. No. Hendon Hooker is the best college football quarterback right now.
I don't believe in that.
And
I think C.J. Stroud
will win the Heisman.
I don't even think.
I've been telling everyone this since the preseason. He will win the Heisman.
I don't think he will. If he wins the Heisman, it's because Ohio State sells the game.
Ohio State is not better than Tennessee.
You're out of your mind.
Ohio State hasn't beaten anyone good.
Okay, and they're going to. They're going to sweep the floor with Michigan, and they're going to beat
I don't know
everybody.
if they sweep.
The only team that they may lose to is Georgia in the playoffs. That's it. I'm telling you right now, you go play. I dare you to go play in Columbus right now. I dare Tennessee.
Tennessee would win.
They would lose in Columbus easily.
Tennessee is objectively a better team.
No, I don't believe that they would.
They're a better
the only
team.
thing.
Ohio State. Here's the thing about Ohio State. It's the same old every year. They have a pretty good year. They beat out some average Big Ten teams, and then they get monkey drug and stomped by a real team.
Okay, and wow,
same.
Tennessee has one good season. Everybody thinks that now everyone's bandwagoning
They
on
have
them.
4 ranked wins, Eddie.
Okay, and how many of those teams are still freaking ranked because they suck?
Eddie, you don't understand. Tennessee, if you watch that game, no one can stop them at all. Their defense is a little suspect, but no one can stop them
I'm telling you,
on
the
offense.
only way
They can outscore any team they want besides maybe Georgia.
The only reason you could beat Ohio State is if you somehow took advantage of their secondary, and that's because they're all freshmen or sophomores. That's it.
You think the best offense in college football can't take advantage of a garbage secondary?
Well, they have one of the best defenses in for corners anyway. So anyway, my point is that Tennessee's not winning a national title, and Hendon Hooker, if he finishes first in the Heisman voting, it's because CJ Stroud sells.
They have played.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
They've played one team that's somewhat decent,
and
even that team lost to a 1-win Stanford.
And wait, let's just put it this:
that decent team they played just lost to a team with 1 win.
Your 4 ranked teams, by the way, I just want to point out, I think this is funny. First off, you played Pitt, who sold
Pitt's
everything.
a good team.
They're not anymore. They literally suck. They're not ranked. They are horrible. You had a good win against them, and then they sold everything. You also congratulations, you beat Florida, who had a hot start to the season and now has sucked ever since. You beat LSU, who was ranked at the beginning of the season because they had 1 good win, and now they suck.
Why
They're
are they
5-2.
not ranked? Why are they not ranked? Because they got beat.
Not by you.
Tennessee. Yes!
They're 5-2.
They were ranked 25, and then Tennessee beat them.
They were ranked 25. So yeah, if you lose 1 game, wow, you're gonna go down just enough.
Oh, they're not ranked anymore because they beat them.
Okay, they're still a 5-2 team, but they're not that good. They got ranked because they beat a good team, and now you beat them, so they move back down.
So you think Tennessee should be ranked what, 5, 6?
I think Tennessee should be ranked 4.
I think 2. I think the only team better than them is Georgia.
It doesn't matter who's better than you. You have to look at where they would be ranked.
Ohio State is just gonna the real test for Ohio State. I don't even think is the Michigan game. I think it's at Penn State.
No, I'm just telling you right now. I don't think.
But Ohio State, okay, Arkansas State sucks. Toledo sucks. Wisconsin sucks. Rutgers sucks. Michigan State sucks.
You know how I know? Do you know why Tennessee isn't making the playoffs? Because they have to beat Georgia to go to the I can't speak today. SEC championship.
Well, we could talk about playoff scenarios.
And you would have to play Alabama again, which you're going to lose, I think, if you play them again.
Here's the thing.
Which would be 2 losses.
So if Tennessee loses to Georgia, which right now I would pick Georgia. I think Georgia's better than Tennessee. But here's the thing, okay? If Tennessee beats Georgia, they will make the playoffs no matter what happens in the SEC title game. Because if they beat Georgia, they'll be ranked number 1. And they could lose in it'll be what Georgia did last year. Now here's the thing for the playoffs. Let's agree on one thing: the Big Ten champ is getting in
easily,
and the SEC champ is getting in
easily.
So that's 2 spots set away for the Big Ten and the SEC.
And I'm telling you, if Michigan's only loss is to Ohio State and it's a close game, Michigan probably makes the playoffs.
So you would have a spot for. I think that the other 2 conferences contending, or 3 conferences contending, are the ACC, Big 12, Pac-12. I think if a team in any of those 3 conferences goes undefeated and wins their conference, they will get in. Because there has never been an undefeated Power 5 champ that hasn't gotten in. Now, the only 3 teams that could do that are Clemson.
I don't know about that.
The only 3 teams that can do that are Clemson,
Syracuse.
I forgot. Okay, so 4. Clemson, Syracuse. Now, one of those is going to be knocked out because they play each other.
Correct.
Probably going to be Syracuse.
Probably, but we have no.
They can win. They can win. So Clemson, Syracuse, UCLA.
UCLA's not making the playoffs. I cannot stand those people.
And TCU.
Neither of those teams. If you can have a 1-loss Michigan team against TCU or UCLA, I'm telling you right now they're picking Michigan.
Okay, so here's where the thing comes up. So if Clemson, TCU, or UCLA, if either of those 3 go undefeated.
No, I'm saying that if UCLA, let's say that Clemson loses and it's just TCU and UCLA that's undefeated. I'm telling you right now, between those 2 teams and a 1-loss Michigan team that kept it close with Ohio State, they're picking Michigan.
Never has there been an undefeated Power 5 conference champ that hasn't gotten in.
Well, congratulations. It's about to change.
So what I'm saying is if UCLA or TCU goes undefeated, they will get in.
I won't. I would not, because what's going to bring in more money? TCU?
It's not up to your opinion, though.
No, but it's TCU or UCLA. Or you can bring in a Big Ten team that's going to bring in more money.
It's not up for you to decide, though. Now,
okay, it's not up for you either, but I'm telling you right now, I'm thinking from a perspective of what they do every year. They put in the team that need. Did anybody really think that
Notre Dame would have generated more money than Cincinnati last year?
No, they wouldn't have.
Yes, they would.
Because they would have lost. Because Notre Dame was way worse.
They were 11.
They were worse.
Okay,
Cincinnati was undefeated.
Now, obviously, before we can even talk about that,
but Michigan is not worse than UCLA or TCU.
Before we can even talk about that, TCU, UCLA, or Clemson, they actually have to go undefeated.
I'm telling you right now, Clemson will go undefeated just because their schedule is easy.
Agree. So let's say
Clemson will probably end up making it, which will knock out Tennessee. If they lose to Bama, let's say they because if they lose to Georgia, they don't make the championship.
So we're saying Tennessee is losing to. If I had to pick now, I'd pick. So the Georgia-Tennessee winner. I think whoever wins between Georgia and Tennessee, they're
gonna go number one.
They're gonna make the SEC title and will beat Bama or Ole Miss because Ole Miss can still make it.
I don't think No, I think that hot take. Bama is pissed right now. They win the SEC. They will make the playoffs.
I don't know.
If they win the SEC, they will still have one loss.
I just don't think they have a good enough team to do it.
I do. You also have to realize this is Bryce Young's first game really back from full recovery. He still threw for almost 500 yards.
That was amazing. Bryce Young is the best quarterback in college football.
Yeah, exactly. Besides him and CJ Stroud, I would say he's better than
Bryce Young is the best quarterback in Alabama football history.
That's a little stretch.
Who's better?
I would honestly.
Joe Namath?
No, I don't know. It would depend. I feel like Bryce Young is definitely a contender, but I would honestly I feel like Jalen Hurts when he played was better.
Okay, back to the issue at hand. So
I'm just saying, right now, if I had to pick a winner, Georgia will win. I think that Georgia will lose to Bama in the SEC championship. It's going to be a revenge game.
So that would mean Bama and Georgia
are both one loss.
They would. I think
correct. And then you would be one loss Tennessee. Tennessee would either. And then it's going to determine whether they're going to put Tennessee. They probably will put Tennessee in over Michigan.
If you're. So I think what else could be the issue is if you have. I think if the Pac-12 has a one-loss champ or if the Big 12 has a one-loss champ, I don't think they're getting in.
No, they're not.
But I think if they have an undefeated champ, they will. But
I don't.
If you ask people, like, what are the chances TCU or UCLA goes undefeated and wins it? I think TCU could go undefeated and win
it. Doesn't matter about that. Let's put it this way. If you have a one-loss Tennessee and their only losses to Georgia, and you have an undefeated TCU, who are you putting in the playoffs?
I think they would put in TCU just because I don't understand how they would leave them out.
They would leave them out because again, everybody thinks sports is all about they put the best team in. That's not what it's about. Do I truly believe that an undefeated team deserves to go in? Yes.
I think Tennessee's better than TCU.
They worked harder. I do too.
TCU.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go, hey, Tennessee's going to bring in more money for us. We're putting Tennessee in.
I think
you just have to think of it from their perspective. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. But I know how they think.
Here's my. I'll give you my predictions. I think Tennessee. Now, obviously,
we're going to have to move on. So we'll just wrap it up.
I think Tennessee loses to Georgia.
And then
Georgia beats Alabama. So Georgia's getting in at 12-0. I think Ohio State beats Michigan. They beat whoever the nobody from the Big 10 was. I think Ohio State goes undefeated. They're number 2. I think I'm having a hard time. I don't think TCU or UCLA will go undefeated. I think Clemson will. I think Clemson's 3.
And then you would be having Tennessee against Georgia.
It's either Tennessee or Michigan. Because they would both have the one loss.
Yes, but they would look at you and they would look and say, hey, Tennessee beat Bama, whereas Michigan beat Penn State and they lost Ohio State. It depends.
I think
it also depends on how close the Ohio State game is.
I think if it's between Tennessee and Michigan, they put in Tennessee because Michigan if they lose to Ohio State, they will not have as good of a win as Tennessee will have. So I think Tennessee's the 4.
I think it will depend on how close the game is.
With Ohio State and Michigan.
And Michigan.
It will also, we'll see.
But anyway, so we're going to move on to NFL really quick, and then we'll recap. NFL, we're not going to go too much in depth. We're just going to go over a couple of games that I really, really want to bring up. First off, New York has officially become a new football city. So congratulations to both teams. The New York Jets are looking better than I think I've ever seen the New York Jets look in my entire life.
They're good now.
I think that they've had a let's put it this way. They've had a history. They've gone from anal man to, They went to an okay, I guess. Well, no, sorry. They started with Tebow. Let's start with Tebow. Then they went to Anal Man, and now they're here. So we've seen quite a few transitions for the Jets. They've gone multiple places. They finally found their franchise quarterback. Zach Wilson, in my opinion, out of the rookies from that year, is the best rookie quarterback in that draft. He is. Trevor Lawrence has not done as much as people said he would. Justin Fields absolutely sucks.
It's not Justin Fields' fault. It's the rest of the team.
No, it's not. You can't blame it on one person. The quarterback is the leader.
It is the coaching and the culture around the garbage-ass Chicago Bears. Patrick Mahomes. Okay, everyone says, "Oh, good, Patrick Mahomes." Patrick Mahomes would be terrible if he was on the Bears.
No, he wouldn't.
He would.
You're out of your mind.
There's never been a good Bears quarterback ever.
I'm telling you right now, I would love to see that. I'm telling you right now.
Never.
You know why? Because Patrick Mahomes has the vision that Justin Fields doesn't.
No, just stop that.
He doesn't. Ask any person. Patrick Mahomes has vision that Brady sometimes doesn't even have.
Okay, he's
Because
on
he's a
a
quarterback.
team that allows him to do that.
No, he's not. That's not the only reason.
I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes is bad. If he was drafted by the Bears, he'd be terrible. Because it's the Bears.
No.
And they suck. I literally lost my mind watching that Thursday night game.
That's just like saying that the Giants, that everybody on the Giants that's ever drafted by the Giants is going to suck. That's not true.
No, it's
because
true for
the
Bears
Giants
quarterbacks.
suck.
True for Bears quarterbacks.
Okay, well, Daniel Jones took a turn. He's now in the last 2 weeks.
Not talking about
he's
the
looked like a prop.
Giants,
I'm just saying you're talking about a team that sucks. The Giants haven't been good in the past 8 years.
No,
neither have the Bears.
But the Bears were 12-4 that one year. They had one.
That
good
was
year.
a fluke year, and then you lost. Why? How?
They also made the playoffs the next year.
And they lost how? Thank you, Cody. Anyway, my point being is that it's not the team. It's you have to look at the leaders. Now, do I agree that Justin Fields was thrust into a position really quickly and he's still trying to get used to it? Yes. But
No, it's just the Bears don't know the Bears front office doesn't know what they're doing. Let's hire a defensive guru coach that is related to a McCaskey. They don't know what they're doing. I'm waiting for the team to have different ownership. They will never be good until they change ownership.
You guys don't know how to play in big games. You won your first game against the 49ers in a monsoon that they had never played in before that you guys are used to, and everybody's like, oh my God, they're so good. And I'm like, nope, that was a fluke game. And then y'all got absolutely demolished in Lambeau. Why? Because you can't play good teams.
The game was close for a little bit.
And then you turned into Indiana. So it's like Illinois and Indiana have like kind of a similarity here. But my point being is that Justin Fields, in my opinion, out of those four quarterbacks is the bottom. Trey Lance is third, Trevor Lawrence is second, Zach Wilson is first. He's not.
It's not even that Justin Fields has even looked too bad. It's just that
they're
not letting him throw the ball. Because they don't know what they're doing because they don't know how to hire a good coach.
No, it's because that his receivers. It's also, if you watch the film and watch the games, the play-by-play announcers even are telling you there was literally instances where I could see where he had to throw the ball and he just pump faked and kept it. That's rookie mistakes. He's not playing. He literally, if you watch the play, he just doesn't throw it.
I just can't stand watching the Bears anymore.
Anyway, Jets win 27-10 in Lambeau. A huge win. They go to 4-2. Packers fall to 3-3 after two straight losses. One to the Giants and one to the Jets.
Good. Watching Sauce Gardner wear that cheese hat was
so funny. Sauce Gardner's a beast.
I need someone on the Bears to do that if we ever win.
I do have to say the teams that are impressing me the most right now. First off, the Giants and I would say the Falcons are impressing me because they just won a major game. Yes, it was against the 49ers who are looking really bad. By the way, top 10 quarterback, my absolute ass.
He is.
He's not. Anyway, they won 28-14 against the 49ers. Really good win there. The Buccaneers upset by the Steelers. I will say this, Tom Brady should have just stayed retired at this point because he's not going back to the Super Bowl.
See, you say that.
Hot take,
come out and win the Super Bowl.
I'm willing to say hot take right now. I wouldn't be shocked if they don't make the playoffs. Especially since there are three NFC East teams.
There's no way they don't win that division.
The Falcons have the same record as them. Actually the only reason that the Falcons have the same record as them is because they were cheated. They should be 4-2 right now.
That's true, but I'm telling you, they are 100% winning that division because that division.
I don't think so.
They're going to win that.
The Falcons are one of the most underrated teams ever. They have one of the best rosters.
Okay, I like the Falcons. I just don't think they're going to have to win that division.
I do. And I think they would be winning the division right now.
I guess, but...
another team that is just right now steamrolling through everybody, the Vikings. They just won 24-16 against the Dolphins.
You told me they weren't good.
They're not good compared to the other teams. but they're steamrolling. I think that if you put them up against the Eagles,
I don't think they already lost to the Eagles.
that's true. Wait, they did. That's their one loss. I forgot about that. So yeah, they lost to the Eagles, who was a really good test.
The Eagles are the best team in the NFL.
They beat the Packers in the first game because Aaron Rodgers was just fluking. I mean, they're having a rough season.
It was a fluke. Not every win is a fluke win. That's
I think there are certain wins that are fluke wins, and I'm telling you right now, that was their fluke.
Oh, they trash screaming.
They also haven't had too many challenging games. They play the Cowboys coming up here soon, which will be a really good game. The Cardinals, the Bills, those are going to be the tough games, and then they will play. Looks like they're going to play the Giants, which depending on how they do the rest of the season could be tough.
What I thought was funny for the Cowboys is
Then they'll play the
Cooper Rush was their
Packers again.
Cooper Rush was their savior, and
He just got demolished.
and they were like, oh, he's so great, he's better than Dak, and they had to lose this one game. And they're like, get him off my damn team.
Hot take.
I can't wait for Dak to be back.
Hot take. Darius Slay right now is the best corner in the NFL. Right the second.
That's probably true.
Jalen Ramsey is still, in my opinion, best in the last couple of years. He has not had a season this year. He has had an off season. He's still very good, and I would take Jalen Ramsey on a fantasy team any day to play against the lockdown receiver or to play lockdown against a receiver. But Darius Slay has been one of the best corners in the game this season. Easy. Then last game, like I said, Giants win 24-20. Bengals come back and beat the Saints. Really good win for them, as that was very close. And then last game I really want to talk about, Rams end up coming back in the second half after being down 10-7 at halftime. They win 24-10. Eagles beat Cowboys 26-17 after a late scare. Cowboys started to come back. And then the Bills beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead to get redemption. This was kind of the moment. Everybody said the winner of this game is going to win the AFC and is probably going to the Super Bowl. I'm telling you right now, tides have changed. The AFC Championship game will be played in Buffalo this year.
I mean,
it's 100% facts. They are the best team in the NFL right now. The Eagles are undefeated, but I'm telling you right now, Buffalo walks in, they're destroying the Eagles. Hot take.
I can kind of agree with that.
I would love, you know what I would love to see? Diggs against Slay. That would be my favorite matchup right now in the NFL.
I don't think you could look too ahead for playoffs.
No, I think they're definitely making it. But anyway, then the game tonight, Chargers Broncos, that'll be good. All right, so
the Chargers will kill them.
No, they will. But I'm just saying it'll be good for me.
I'm sick of seeing the Broncos in primetime. They suck. They're a terrible team. Stop putting them on national television.
I don't know why they're on primetime all the time, but they are.
It's because they put them on. It's because they come up with the schedule before the season.
I know, but
they're like, Russell Wilson, let's put him on national TV every night.
Anyway, all right. So just a quick couple of NBA things I want to talk about before everything starts tonight. Everything looks really good in my opinion. 2 games tomorrow that are going to kick us off. Obviously, the two champions always play not against each other, but they always do start off the season. Celtics will be playing at home against the 76ers, and the Warriors will be playing at home against the Lakers. Russell Westbrook is out, which is, not really it's actually probably going to make the Lakers better. So we're going to be good there. Not really. I hope the Warriors win. But, I mean, we, thank God, have officially re-signed both Wiggins and Poole to major deals. Wiggins was 4 years, $121 million. Poole was 4 years, $108 million, I'm pretty sure.
Doesn't that mean they're not going to have enough money to sign Draymond Green or something like that?
Draymond Green's already been signed.
Oh, really?
I think he was signed to a 2-year deal.
Yeah, but after that 2 years, he's probably gone.
He's pretty much gone anyway. He's 35, 36. I don't remember anymore. He's losing his touch. The only reason he's still on this team is because he is one of the best ball movement players I've ever met in my life. He can assist, he can rebound, and he can still play D in clutch situations. That's the only reason. But no, as of right now, I think that we have one of the best rookie classes. Kuminga is already on my fantasy team. I love that man. He's going to be a beast. But looking at it right now, I will say Andre Iguodala, he decided to come back. I don't know why. I love Andre Iguodala, but if I were him, I would have gone out on championship. I love Andre, one of my favorite players, but he should have went out on a championship. Sadly, we did lose three fantastic players, and Damian Lee, my man Gary Payton, who signed with the Trailblazers, and then we also lost JTA. But I'm super pumped for this season. I think they'll do really good there. I'm pretty sure our starting lineup as of now is Curry, Clay. They're going to put Wiggins, and then they're going to have Draymond, and they're going to have Wiseman. And then Poole will come in off the bench. But I'm not sure exactly how they're going to line that up. But we'll see about that. But overall, looks really good for the Celtics and the 76ers. This game is going to be really interesting. There was actually talks of trading. I still can't believe this was a talk. They were going to get rid of Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant in the offseason until Kevin Durant said, you know what, screw it, I'm staying with the Nets. And every Celtics fan was giving them hell because I love Kevin Durant. Obviously, he was a former Warrior, and there was actually talks about bringing him back.
Kevin Durant is the most overrated basketball player to ever grace Earth.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
How?
He has never been able to do anything by himself.
Okay, and neither is LeBron James.
Weren't the Nets?
Neither is LeBron James. So you're telling me he's the one who's overrated?
Okay, weren't the Nets supposed to win 4 titles in a row?
Until every single freaking person, including Kevin Durant, got hurt.
Oh no, there's injuries every year. I hate it when people always blame injuries.
Okay, then explain LeBron. In my opinion, he's one of the most overrated players in history.
Well, because he led the Cavs to the finals with nobody on his team.
Kyrie, Kevin Love, J.R. Smith.
No, I'm talking about when early in his career when the best player was Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Oh yeah, and they lost.
Have you
seen? Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he can't do anything by himself.
No, he made Kevin Durant. He couldn't even win a playoff game.
What do you mean? Kevin Durant almost made it every single year with the Thunder to the conference championship. They just always lost to the Warriors, who had a better team.
Russell Westbrook's a better all-time player than Durant. Durant is
Russell Westbrook is one of the worst players to ever grace the stage.
Well, right now
he can't do anything because he's a ball hog. No. Why do you think Kevin Durant left Oklahoma? Because he hated Russell Westbrook. Everybody did. He couldn't do anything. He was an assist leader. He's horrible.
I just hate it when everyone talks about
how many rings does Russell Westbrook have?
I just hate it when people are gonna. Oh yeah, Kevin Durant got 2 because he went to the best team in NBA or the second best team in NBA history.
And he won Finals MVP. Why? Because he took control. Because he can do crap himself. I'm just saying right now. Don't get me wrong. Kevin Durant's not in my top 5. He's not in my. I wouldn't even put him in my top 10. He's in my top 15. But you can't,
of all time. Or?
Yes.
He's not even top.
You have to look at it career.
Time.
You have to look at it career-wise.
20 all time.
He's got just as many rings as some of the greatest.
Rings are a team sport.
Okay, so you're telling me right now that, again, LeBron is overrated.
Oh, he's not. Okay, LeBron.
He's not. Every ring he's won, he's had a superstar team.
LeBron is the 3rd best player of all time.
Oh, my God. That explains a lot.
And Michael Jordan is 2nd.
Okay, who's first?
Wilt.
You're out of your mind. This just proves. This is why he always says he knows nothing about MLB or NBA. He doesn't.
Okay, Wilt is the best player of all time.
No, he's not.
Because
Wilt is second.
Who else has averaged 50 points a game in a season?
Oh, you're talking about 50 points a game when all you had to do was just stand under the basket and throw it in the hoop?
No. All you do is play against bad people. Then why wasn't anyone else averaging 50 points a game?
Because that was the best team in the NBA, and Wilt was just there. I mean, really? You want to talk about it? Are you serious right now? Yeah. Okay. Kobe Bryant scored 70 points in his final game of his career, and he did that.
Well, that's just because he was the only person.
Oh, my point being. So anyway,
no one. I'm telling you, you can average if you average 50 points a game in a season. He leads the average per game.
He's the best. He may be the best statistically, but he's not the best player.
Yeah, that is.
No, he's not.
If you are the best statistical player, you're the best player.
No. Michael Jordan has 6 rings. He led the league in almost every category while he played.
Rings are a team sport, or a team stat.
But you have to. You know what makes up a team? Good players. And Michael Jordan,
really?
Scottie Pippen, Steve Kerr, they were all great players. But Michael went 6-0. How many did Will get? Not 6.
So Scottie Pippen.
Okay. And Scottie Pippen is one of the best players of all time, in my opinion.
I'll take that to the grave.
No.
They had to change the rules because he was.
You've even admitted you don't know anything about NBA, and this just proves further that you put Michael below Wilt. I'm sorry.
I think Wilt's
anyway, we're gonna go ahead and have to start wrapping up because we went a little bit over more than we expected. But before we go, just really quick, once again, I will have these out on our YouTube. Make sure to go like, comment, and subscribe on there. Also, you can listen to all these on any podcast app, Apple Music, whatever, under iUS TV, and just find Bloomington Buddies there. And then also make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Bloomington_buddies. But until then, we will be back on Friday. So thank you for tuning in. For Quincy Bell, I'm Eddie Finn. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll see you on Friday.
Go Hoosiers.